This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. But wait, there's more. Check out the official Formula Virtual Racing merchandise line out now exclusively to Simulus Clothing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Formula Virtual Racing live from the Secure International Circuit. My name is Evan Dalton, and it's a pleasure to bring you action once again from Formula Virtual Racing. We had an absolute corker to start the season in Interlagos. Well, after we got going, that was, of course. It was a little bit messy from the start, but now we have got going, and the drama will continue because Adrian Tisci is already out of qualifying. He's crashed on the run-up towards turn number 4 in a straight line. Oh, that's dramatic. And Adrian already gone from what is usually one of his better tracks, and it was right here where he lost it. Bit of a freak incident, it seems, for Adrian Tisci. I'm not too sure what actually happened in there, but he's out of qualifying, and one McLaren will be starting from 18th. It's in the hands of world champion Luke Davies to bring this McLaren team somewhat far up the grid. But in terms of last week, as we were saying, Brazil opener was a great race. And of course, we had a Legend Rosenberg victory to start the season. As you can see, championship on your screen. You saw it at the start of the stream because I forgot to turn it off. But Legend Rosenberg took the race win, followed by Luke Davies in second. It was, or followed by Thomas Main in second, but Thomas is a reserve, so they're not classified on the official championship standings. If Thomas does become a main driver, he will keep all his points, and he'll then start to appear on our fine and newfangled graphics. And it was Luke Davies then second in the championship, with Tyler Davison in third, and it was Colin Dulger in fourth, and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who finished merely tenths of a second behind him in fifth position. It was interesting. In Brazil, we had a mix of everything: drama, controversy, rain and dry. Despite being in Bahrain, we won't have any here today. It should be a dry expedition here in the desert, but it will be Jurg who will get us underway. I think the first lap of the day does belong to Legend Rosenberg, and there's a bit of shaky reports coming out of the Haas camp. Rosenberg having some pedal issues before proceedings took place here this evening. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to actually drive the car. If I was a bookmaker, I would certainly not be changing my odds on a Legend Rosenberg pole, because he's an absolute monster and could probably still take pole position despite having dodgy equipment. But let's see what his middle sector is like then as he heads up towards the uphill right-hander. Of course, if you are a sim racing fan across the board, whether you're just an FVR fan or a sim racing fan, you'll have noticed F1 Esports was racing here today around the Secure International Circuit. It was Thomas Ronhar that took the race victory. I imagine we're going to have the more interesting race, because these guys are a bunch of nutcases at the best of times, and it provides some brilliant action to your TV screen, to your mobile devices. But here comes Rosberg running through the final couple of corners now. This is not actually a Legend standard lap, so he is having some issues. 1:28.5. That's going to be beaten, realistically. That's not the best banker time Legend has ever done in his career. Look at Borbjorn in the start-finish line. You can see Redmond goes to second, Borbjorn across the line. Okay, maybe it was actually a valid time by Legend. I thought it would be beaten. No, there we go. Proceedings, or me, it's back to normal, because there goes Tyler Davison, 1:28.5. Wong-Fei Anderson completing a lap as well. You have Alpine across the line of Jurgensmeyer. Borbjorn, the quicker of the pair. So Borbjorn, the quicker Alpine for the time being. Vestigo Badi is heading up to turn 4 as well. There goes the second Alfa Romeo across the start-finish line. That's just starting a lap. That's Wong-Fei Anderson, who goes to 6th, and the other Alpha Terry just getting underway as well. Only one Red Bull here this evening. And apologies, there's 2 Red Bulls. There is Enzo King and Leroy Vincendel. Here comes world champion Luke Davies across the start-finish line. Luke is going to break the timing beam, and he's slower than Legend Rosenberg, and he's 4 tenths off pole position of his fellow Brit Davison. So that's an intriguing one for Luke Davies. Of course, was sort of level pegging for the entirety of last weekend in Brazil. Of course, beat Tyler after the steward's report, where Tyler received a 5-second penalty for an incident with a Vestigo Badi. Adrian just texted me and said, tried warming the tyres too hard, if you were wondering. I really was wondering, Adrian, so appreciate that. But back to some lap times. Gobadi. Gobadi's actually backed off, so he's going to go for a second attempt. Obviously had a bit of an issue there. I think Stumer backed off as well. Could well have. Yep, Stumer's backed off as well. So one AlphaTauri finding some real early success. The other not really. Love to team Ferrari in the stream chat. That's Nils Hartl and Julius Gavner here this evening. It's usually Lewis McWilliam, but Lewis is probably getting up to some usual Lewis Saturday night activities, whatever that involves. He's playing FIFA a couple of minutes ago, but I'm sure that's not going to be it for Lewis. In terms of laps, Kyle Albert's on full wets. There'll be 2 driving penalty points. Kyle Albert for incorrect tyres, but it's Kyle Albert. He kind of does what he wants. And he's on the full wets. Third round, getting the job done. Enzo King goes to 3rd, beats Sam Davison. Enzo, maybe getting back to his old rejuvenated self in that Red Bull. Of course, Enzo, last time out at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, did not have the best of races. It was he's 19th in the championship, is Enzo, only ahead of Morris Stumer, but Enzo is a 3-time FVR race winner. He won twice around the streets of Baku, and then won his home Grand Prix in the Red Bull Ring. Enzo, very good in wet conditions. Unfortunately, we're not going to get any here today in Bahrain, but that's a promising lap from Enzo King to go to 3rd. He's ahead of Davison. He's ahead of the world champion, Luke Davies. The gap actually between Sam and Luke is 1,000. So literally probably the size of your fingernail. If even. That's how close those two are in terms of qualifying. You may notice that the Scuderia Ferrari is looking slightly different. Thankfully, the game... Oh, hold on a second. Let's hold livery talk. We have a man introducing himself to play here this evening. Oh, Avesta, don't show me that. But Avesta Gobadi has gone quickest. The Ukrainian 1:28.5. He pips Davison and Legend Rosenberg. Really intriguing qualifying so far here in Sakir. It is Avesta Gobadi who is on top for the time being. But what I was saying is, you may notice the Ferrari looking slightly different. Thankfully, the game, although it may be broken and starting races under the safety car, it has given us the Las Vegas special Ferrari. So we're very appreciative of that. Thank you very much, Codemasters, for the more important side of a working game. No, but it looks cool. It does look really cool. The white instead, or what is usually black or yellow on the Scuderia Ferrari. Carl's still out in the full wets. Timden Higher has gone to 8th, so the second of the Dutch Hasses getting a lap on the board. Rosenberg 3rd, Timden Higher in 8th. Not a bad lap there for Timden Higher. Wonkvie Anderson on a lap as well, but he was a 2nd and 6th down on his time there, so he's not going to be improving for now. The Turkishman Okan Dolga is just slowly circling around the Sakir International Circuit. He's not on a proper lap, as is Manny. Manny seemed to be having a few issues. Gobadi trundles back to pit lane. Let's right on board here, though, with Legend Rosenberg. Let's see what this first sector is like in comparison to Davison and Gobadi. Heading through here, what is Rosenberg doing in that first sector? He's up 0.124. Good lap this so far from the mighty Legend Rosenberg. Braking for turn number 8, using about 3rd gear through here. It looks slow for Rosenberg, but it certainly isn't, because the timing towers are telling us completely different, but it does look visually like this is not the smoothest of running that Rosenberg would experience. Short shifting up the gears, heading down towards turn number 11. This next corner will be taken at about 5th gear. It's a high speed corner. Now Rosenberg actually drops to 4th. You sometimes see 5th for a little bit of smoother traction, but Legend knows how to drive a race car and certainly how to get it pointing in a straight line. Monster middle sector for the Dutchman, 1:06.4. That's impressive and way quicker than the man on pole position in his Mercedes. Going to be a bit of a slipstream here from Timden Higher, actually. The team game and teammate compatibility very strong at Haas in the early phases. Of course, we have a draft selection, so you usually don't get that sort of teamwork element, but it's working well here. Rosenberg 0.187. He actually lost time in that final sector, but the two Hasses acknowledging each other's presence and a bit of inter-team play between the pair. Thomas Main is partaking in this race as well, of course, as we've just seen running on the bottom, but he does have a qualifying suspension for an illegal impediment on Davison last time out. We saw that one on the broadcast. It was just a block. It was a complete and utter F-up, is all I'm going to say, from Thomas May. Con Dolga finds 3.5 seconds in that middle sector. He's tracking to jump into the middle of the pack around Redmond, Den Higher sort of areas, but you got to remember he's going to find another second at least in this final sector, because he would have pulled into the pit lane on that lap. But here comes Con Duggar. Jack Redmond improves to 4th, beats his other old friend Enzo King. Con Duggar is going to jump up ahead of Timden Higher, so he now goes to 8th position. Avesta Gobadi is on an outlap. Leroy Vincendel getting his next lap underway. Vincendel actually jumping to 5th spot on that lap. He was completing a run, not exactly starting one. Jurgens Mayer pulls into the pit lane. The American not able to get a time on the board. Luke Davies down in 8th here so far in qualifying. He's found 3/10 on this lap. He's now 6/10 improving on this lap, and actually purple in the middle sector. So the world champion is finding time here, heading down towards the right-hander of turn 14. Not technically the last corner in this Sakir International Circuit. This little kink here, and you can see just running out there. That's technically the last corner, but let's see, where can the world champion go? Is he able to pip Rosenberg at the top of the timing tower? He absolutely is here. 1:28.2. Great lap from young Luke Davies. That's really, really impressive from the McLaren. He has pulled a bit of a shock there, actually. I thought Luke, this might have been that race in a season where Luke just looked slightly uncomfortable in the car. He's not driving to the best of his abilities. But Luke, no. He has proved me wrong once again in Formula Virtual Racing and is now in the provisional pole. Here comes Enzo King, running for the final corner now. What can the Austrian do? Across the start-finish line goes the Red Bullman. It'll be 7th for Enzo King. There was a time improvement, however, not a positional improvement. as we do have Niels Hartl down on his run, Kyle Albert on his first proper time today. We have a Vesta Gobadi tracking in the middle sector. No, Gobadi's backed out just like we saw the first time round, so he won't be putting a lap on the board. Morris Stumer has gone to 12th spot, you can see for the AlphaTauri there. Then there's a Williams crossing the start finish line. That was Wong Fee Anderson just getting his lap underway, of course. Last season's clean driver of the season, he won that award for season 10. The Swede came in, got a podium, didn't say much else, had enough of the season. It was a really impressive showing though from Wong Fee Anderson, and he earned himself split one status in this year's FVR draft, and now he's making a name for himself in this Williams team. Is teammates with Matthew Stotts, but has Kyle Albert in the car this evening as a reserve entry. Stotts unfortunately not able to make it. That's purple sector 1 for Wong Fee Anderson. Very quick in that first sector. I don't know if it's just this circuit, but the cars look really slow around here this evening for some reason. I'm not sure if it's just because we are after having Interlagos where everything is fast paced and quick, but the cars do genuinely look like they're at a snail's pace through that middle sector. Anderson is certainly pushing, and he's going to feel a lot quicker than we think he's feeling. But yeah, in terms of our qualifying poll that we have running in the stream chat, make sure to get your votes put in, folks. It's actually a tie between Luke Davies and Legend Rosenberg. So 1-2 in qualifying. Your votes were correct. We have 17% for other, so make sure you do let us know who else that is. And then we have 17 for Tyler Davison, who has literally just texted me. So I'll read that in a second, see if it's an update on the proceedings of the AlphaTauri team. Here comes the Swede of Wong Fee Anderson, however, across the start-finish line. Wong Fee jumps to 9th, beats Kandolger. Good lap there from Wong Fee Anderson. Wasn't able to put it in between the two Red Bulls, but still, nevertheless, a strong showing. A lineup to watch, I think, this evening is the Alfa Romeos, maybe not from a pace perspective, but certainly in terms of a nostalgic perspective. The Season 2 champion and the Season 3 champion are teammates for a race in Season 11. The longevity of the pair will be proved, hopefully, this evening for their regards, as Kyle Albert has actually validated his time, but he is 13th for the time being. Niels Hartl getting underway on his lap as well, as is Jonathan Jurgensmeyer heading up towards turn number 4. Let's see what the middle sector's like for Jurgensmeyer. We saw 28-2 potentially for Wong Fee Anderson. What can Jurg do here? He's going to do a 28-8, so improving by 2/10 on his personal best, but slower than the Swede that we saw go 9th. I'd like to think Alpine and Williams will be in sort of an inter-team battle here this season. It's of course Bune and Jurgensmeyer for Alpine, which is a strong lineup. Bune, of course, a champion, technically, in Formula Virtual Racing, won the Season 9 Constructors' Championship with Luke Davies in that McLaren entry. They weren't able to wrap up the Drivers' Championship in that season, of course, but they did have one of the greats, Lewis McWilliam, battling with him. Let's see what Jurg's middle sector is going to be like, as we actually have Wong Fee Anderson out on track as well in that Williams. Kyle Albert is in the pit lane. Big middle sector for Jurg. 107.1. That's only 3/10 off. We saw what Legend Rosenberg did in his banker. That is Wong Fee Anderson heading into the pit lane as Kandolger comes out on track, as do our top 3, so we need to keep an eye on them. They're really close out on circuit. But here comes the American, right into the final corner. Where can Jonathan Jurgensmeyer go here in qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix? This will be his last attempt. It's going to be 12th for Jurg. Gets a 2nd and 1 on his previous best, so still a good lap there for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He'll be looking to do something from 12th. He's within a 2nd of the pole, which was a lot better than we had in Interlagos, actually. Ferrari, our Team Ferrari, Team Scuderia Ferrari, not necessarily impressing the Tifosi. They're currently the two slowest runners still in qualifying. Of course, Main has a qualifying suspension, and Tishy was out before we even really got started as a broadcast, let alone in terms of the actual session. But everyone out now on the circuit, apart from Wong Fee Anderson and Tim Denhire, but Tim is just making his way out now. Can Legend be beat by Luke Davies here in qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix? Let's wait and see then. Rounds the final corner does Legend Rosenberg. He's got to find at least a 10 on his previous best. He wants to take pole position. In towards turn number 1 then goes Legend. you want to brake at that curb there. Oh, very deep, locks the rears in towards turn number 1. That's not an ideal line from Legend Rosenberg. Got the trajectory of that corner completely wrong, but using the battery and DRS to head up towards turn number 4, braking on the curb, utilising all of that corner and just run the car out wide there. Almost onto the gravel trap. Rosenberg, first sector time. He's up, he's found it, he's got it through turn number 4. Turn number 1 was shaky. Turn number 4, excellent. In towards the hairpin then of turn number 8. Very critical corners coming up here for this lap. It's turn number 9, you've got to get your setup perfect, and then very tricky turn number 10. Rosenberg using the lockup of the rears to almost rotate the car through there. It's sort of a game bug. You can't really do that in a real Formula 1 car, but these aren't driving real Formula 1 cars. They just want to go quickest in these virtual ones. Heading up towards turn number 12. Now you just about want to dab on that curve on the inside. Yep, you can see Rosenberg nails it perfectly. You stay on that curve for too long, you're going to end up into the gravel. He is way improving on his previous best, but remember, we didn't actually see a second attempt from Gobadi or from Davison, so they still have a lot more time, especially considering the high track evolution here at Sakir. But Rosenberg gonna go to pole here. It's just a case of by how much. It's gonna be 0.351 for these guys to beat it. It'll be Gobadi the next to attempt to take pole. Anderson and Julius Gassner have finished their laps, and Avesta Gobadi is up by 0.4 of a second here. He's got to try find 2 more in this final sector if he wants to beat the monster that is Legend Rosenberg. You can see there's an AlphaTauri behind us. Jack Redmond is onto the second row of the grid. Good job from the Irishman. Gobadi, way wide through the final corner, has lost his lap. He's not even going to get to complete it. Drama here in Sakir. Davies is done on his lap as well. It's down to one man and one man only. Can Davison somehow drag AlphaTauri out of the dark here? He didn't find it in the middle sector. He's gonna have to do a mighty good job here to find it in the last, and he's pulled into the pit lane. All 3 drivers challenging Rosenberg have not been able to perform when the light shone brightest. Here comes Can Dulger across the start-finish line. Where can the Turkishman go? There's a real sense of opportunity here in this session now, because so many of the top dogs made very silly mistakes. Is Timden Hire able to get closer to his teammate in towards turn 14 and 15 now? Doesn't want to make the same mistakes that we've seen from Albon and Aitken in the past. Here comes Timden Hire. It's going to be 8th. That's a good lap in the end from Timden Hire. But order has resumed. Legend Rosenberg is on pole for the Bahrain Grand Prix. He'll line up alongside Luke Davies into turn number 1. That's a very intriguing front row. Can Luke maybe get the launch on Legend, have a go up the inside and make things very difficult for Rosenberg on the run up to turn number 4? But we thought this might be the day where Rosenberg's not able to take pole on a day that he's almost guaranteed it. But no, not everything is as dramatic in life, and some things are in fact guaranteed, and Legend Rosenberg will take pole position and be the only man in the 27s. But remember, there is some issues for the equipment of that Haas driver, but it is Rosenberg alongside Davies on the front row. Jack Redmond, with a star-studded performance, takes 3rd. He's really pulled that one out of the water. Then it's Avesta Gobadi, Tyler Davison, Leroy Vincenzo, Sam Davis, Timden Hart, Enzo King, Wongfi Anderson, Con Dulger, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and it is Albert Stumer, Bune, Hartle, Gassner, Main, and Taishia. Folks, we'll be back for the Bahrain Grand Prix in a couple of moments. This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. But wait, there's more. Check out the official Formula Virtual Racing merchandise line, out now exclusively to Simulus Clothing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy them. Well, folks, if you're wondering why we've just cut our fantastic intro short, it's because, well, unfortunately, we've no formation lap this week to run into, so we have to cut production a little bit tight. Here we go then. It's the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's Rosenberg and Luke Davies lined up on the front row. And we go racing here in Bahrain. That's a very good launch from Jack Redmond on the second row. A very good launch from Davison as well into turn number one. Luke Davies has got the launch on the pole center. Oh, there's two cars off into the wall. It's King and Denhire who are off already. Safety car out immediately. And Legend Rosenberg has been given a 5-second time penalty and has to concede position, it seems, to Luke Davies. Not sure what happened on the run down to turn number one, but King and Denhire are both out of the race almost immediately here. That is really dramatic. Hopefully we can get some form of a replay on that one. We actually have a man who's going to give a little bit of his insight here in the commentary box. Kyle Davis has joined me. I suppose you could say chief engineer for the Sam Davis car, but he is also a commentator here, but you know, we'll pretend he's not double jobbing. Kyle, did you see what happened on there in the opening lap?
It looked like a big movement, or well, at least a big move attempted at another car, and resulting in the back of King Enzo being hit, and then Blaze Tim just being unlucky, being on the inside, and then getting hit even worse. I did not see the crash fully, but it looked like that at least.
Well, a shaky start for some. A terrible start. If your name is Enzo King or Tim Denhire, Luke Davies is getting absolutely raging, by the way, because he had a genuine run on the pole sitter in towards turn number one, but Legend did get a 5-second time penalty for it, and he's not going to be able to get that one removed, because to get a penalty removed you have to not serve it. 5-second time penalties, if you're new to racing or Formula 1 regulations, your 5-second time penalty must be served in your next pit stop, and you've got to make at least one. So Legend has not made that pit stop, and he's going to have to do it. Let's take a look at our tyre graphic for the time being, and the strategy split. It's mediums for the top 5, then it's hards for Sam Davison, then it is softs for Leroy Vincendel, mediums for Khan, Wonky, Jurg, Albert and Stumer, as well as Hartle and Gassner. Softs for Bune, mediums for Taisha and Thomas Main in the pits on the softs. Kyle, while we still have you with us, what's the thinking behind that hard tyre for Sam?
Well, it was really to get the hard medium going, and since we're expecting quite some safety cars here, it's a hard track, and everyone will be quite close together. As you could see in the quali, it was really competitive. So we figured, why not put the hard one and then go back to the mediums later on in the race and see, when the safety car drops, if we can even extend more or something like that. We basically tried to give ourselves big options by going on the hard tire right now, getting the pain out of us at the first stint, and then giving us some room in the last.
I like that thinking. I really do like that thinking. I think this could be a bit of a messy race. It certainly looked it, and certainly if the race starts in the manner it did here this evening, it's going to be like that. Of course, there is only a 336 metre run from the number one grid slot to turn one, and Enzo King and Tim Denhire did not even get to fully complete that stretch. They were out before braking for the first corner, both understandably fuming at each other. They're never going to blame themselves for an incident. So in our Discord server, which you're more than welcome to join as a fan, by the way, and chat with some of the drivers if you're enjoying the action. More than welcome to pop in. I believe it's in our description. And if you want to sign up as a driver, more than welcome to as well. But yeah, both not happy. Tim saying, Enzo, you idiots, as you can imagine, other words included in that sentence that won't be read out to our broadcast. And yeah, Enzo not too happy, but yeah, Wonky Anderson as well, adding fuel to the fire. Don't text and drive, kids, like Wonky Anderson is. Don't do that. But in terms of positional gain, you can see biggest gainer is actually Karen Dolger and Neil Tartle and Julius Gassner, as well as Adrian Tishy. But yeah, that is intriguing. Once again, Kyle, while we still have you here,
this is in the qualification. We were quite close to getting in the top 5, which is our aim at the moment. And yeah, well, we're P6 right now, and we've got a great strategy. So I think our expectations should be raised to a top 5 minimum.
And Kyle, as you're technically the Alfa Romeo representative for this evening, Jack Redmond, third on the grid, Sam's old rival. It feels good to see Jack and Sam so high up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's obviously, well, it's an OG grid really. We saw the same last round in Brazil at the which you pronounced so beautifully, called Carlos Pache circuit or something. Um, yeah, but I love to see OG drivers getting back on the grid. I mean, we're in season 11 right now. That's 9 seasons ago when Sam was a champion. I believe they had Flintstone cars back in those days. Yeah, it's amazing to see these guys back on track. And of course, right now we're quite high up as well, so even better for us right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were streaming in black and white when Sam last won his championship. No, it's not.
I think we did, yeah. It was quite a long time. I remember the asteroid hitting and the dinosaurs like in the background flying away.
Yeah,
it was
Fred
really
Flintstone was my co-commentator back then.
Yeah, he was, and you could see the little
Sorry,
the little
brother.
feet tapping from underneath the car. And Sam's feet ran fastest, and then he got the championship. I think that was the reason. His talent, I'm not so sure.
I'm sure if you went back to those streams, it would be very funny to hear how I sound.
Oh yeah,
it would be really, really funny. But nonetheless, let's get back to a bit of racing then, shall we? Because the safety car is coming in this lap. Legend Rosenberg will get the restart, or will get the job of conducting the restart. A job he's had many a time before here in Formula Virtual Racing. Whether that is a statement about how much he's led or how many safety cars we've had, we'll have to wait and see. But you can see very slowly bringing it in towards turn 14 and 15. He's going to go just before this corner, it seems. And yes, we go racing once again here in Bahrain. No overtaking before the start-finish line, remember, but Luke Davies has been slightly caught napping. Not as bad as Vestager Badi was last week, but we've a long run down the straight. 1,205 metres to be exact for Davies to get back in within that slipstream range in towards turn number 1. Bit of dicing here between Gobani and Davison. Gobani on the outside, and Davison goes up into the runoff. Second week in a row these two have made contact, and the Alpha Tauri gets clipped by the Mercedes, and Davison is sent spinning. Gobani continues on scot-free. He's down to 14th here in this Bahrain Grand Prix, and we can barely make it through a couple of corners without an incident, it seems. Vesta Gobani now chasing down Jack Redmond for third. The Mercedes seems to have gotten away scot-free with damage. There's nothing on that car yet. It's all okay in terms of the Ukrainian's damage status, and now he's hounding down Jack Redmond in towards turn number 10. Is he going to sit behind them? He is. Van Schendel and Davison, as Sam Davison late on the brakes, gets the job done. That's going to impress the older brother who we were hearing from a couple of moments ago. Here comes Van Schendel though, fighting back on the bend. I'm hoping we're not having this issue like we got last week, but we should be okay. So yeah, hopefully everything all okay in that regard. Thomas Main gets past Julius Gassner, as we can see. Thomas Main still on the inside of the Ferrari. That job is not exactly completed, but he is going to get the slipstream off Tyler Davis. And a little bit of push to pass maybe there from Main. That one could be under investigation. Borbune is going to take that invitation, however, and he's going to run with it. He's going to try go past as Vesta Gobadi overtakes Jack Redmond. Redmond tucks back into the slipstream. Is Jack going to stick this one up the inside? No, he's a smarter racer now, and he's going to stick right behind, as that is Julius Gassner losing even more spots. They're going to go 3 abreast here and towards the first corner. It looks like the Ferrari in the middle of a McLaren and an Alpine. This is Tichy, Bune and Gassner, and Bune is going to come out on top. Tichy almost ending up in the gravel trap, but no, not quite. He is all okay. There's Jack Redmond gets past Vincenzo. Vincenzo is in a bit of a dogfight here with 2 Swift Alfa Romeos, all 3 drivers on different tyres. You can't really get more diverse than that. Rosenberg has dropped Luke Davies, and he does lead by a second here in this one. And Davies has also burnt pretty much all of the battery he has. We'll get the telemetry on screen briefly. He's running on 14%, Legend 25. So Legend is using a lot. It's not necessarily that he has 1 second a lap over Luke Davies. It's more a case of okay, he isn't for the time being. We've actually fully disconnected from the stream, so hopefully we can get that reconnected for the time being, and we can get back underway with the broadcast. Still reconnecting for the time being, which is, I'm unsure why I'm commentating, because no one can hear me. No, it seems like we're okay. Okay, seems like we are back and running here today. So what I'm saying, no one can hear me. You all could hear me. which is just my luck. But I'm still saying we're reconnecting. I hope everything is okay and you can hear me. Yeah, there we go. Reconnection successful. We're back, like we never left. Leroy Vicenzo hooked into the slipstream of Jack Redmond here, still on lap 6 at 29. Legend's gone, so if you're looking for a race win battle, well, technically he's to try pull 5 seconds on Luke, because he's certainly have 5 seconds in the pit stop, isn't he? So Legend technically not home and dry necessarily just yet, but if he can pull 2 seconds in 6 laps with 3 of them being under safety car, then God knows what he can do. Mark Stumer fighting with Kyle Albert for some points here, as they are both, or Morris I should say, on the fringe of the points. Kyle just about in the points, 10th place is the points for places, from first down to 10 on a fastest lap across the board, so well against that one. But here comes Morris Stumer, just into the slipstream of Kyle Albert. He's going to wait for the main straight to go for this one, is the Alpha Tauri. As he heads down, he's got a Aston Martin behind of Thomas Main as well. Here comes Main, looking to unleash himself from the back of the pair, and Main is going to try do it Hamilton 2018 style up the inside, get the pair of them in towards turn number 1. Thomas Main now into the points, and Stumer and Albert now are on the fringe of the points. Kyle's dropped a handful of places. Morris up 1, but still not into 10th. He's still in the same place he was, now right behind Thomas Main, as there's a big battle up here. There's cars going 2 abreast all over the place. Redmond staying in front of Van Schendel, Davison, Anderson and Dulger all battling here for 6th place. Albert's now got past Stumer. It's action across the board here at the Sakir International Circuit. Difficult to keep up with, but fantastic racing action overall. The gap is now 2.3 up the front here. It's then 2.4 back to Avesta Gobadi, but then it's an absolute train. That's right on board with Leroy Vincenzo, who tackles this middle section. Lapping 4/10 off his personal best as Vincenzo, which was only a matter of laps ago. So that's a key indication that these tyres could be dropping off actually, and Vincenzo may not have as smooth a ride as he would like trying to get past Jack Redmond. The Sam Davis train is in full force because he's got them all backed up, heading through the final corner. Yellow flag through the last corner. That's Morris Stumer who's lost it for AlphaTauri, and now it's NASCAR style into the first corner. Dulger trying to repeat what Main did and get 2 into the 1 in the first corner. It's the Swede now who leads here in the Williams, ahead of the Turkishman of Cam Dulger. Yellow flag still out in the 3rd sector. That is Morris Stumer as they weave down towards turn number 4. It's Dulger on the outside. It's Wongfi Anderson on the inside. Dulger tries the switchback maneuver, but he's got the Alfa Romeo on the inside. Doesn't have enough space to try the switchback maneuver. Wongfi Anderson keeps the 6th place ahead of Dulger and ahead of Sam Davis. Davis led that train, of course, and now he's got an American trying to dive bomb him up the inside. Jurgensmeyer almost went for it, heading in towards the turn 8 hairpin, but he could not get the job done, and he has to settle for 9th here. Now Thomas Main is up on this train. Main, of course, has already made his mandatory pit stop, but gonna have to make another one because there's no way those softs will last to the end of this Grand Prix. Gap at the front now 3.5, and the gap behind is 1 from Luke Davies. That indicates to me that Luke Davies has made a mistake somewhere in this lap, and he's now being hunted down by the Ukrainian. Davison has worked his way back up to 11. He's just pumping in lap times, trying to catch up to this train so he can involve himself in some of the scrapping. He's actually towing Albert along with him, so a little bit of international, I suppose, working together here. Pretend I said something smart. Here we go in towards turn number 1 again. Gap between Anderson and Dulger still a little bit far out, as Main is going to go for this one down the inside of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Great move from Thomas Main. Thomas Main, of course, he left mid-season. He couldn't handle it anymore last season. Left as I've just realised Thomas is in the wrong car. Thomas is supposed to be in a Mercedes. Why is he in an Aston Martin? I have just noticed that. Well, best of luck to you, Thomas, because he's supposed to be in the Mercedes. Who is supposed to be in that Aston Martin? That's what I'm intrigued about. because I definitely thought we had two Aston Martins here this evening, or at least we were supposed to. Matthew Stott is supposed to be in that Aston Martin, so he's just taken it under his own accord to go for the Aston Martin. Main up the inside, gets the job done on Sam Davis. Sam Davis is no spring chicken and has got the switchback manoeuvre completed on Main. May look a little bit silly for a moment there, but I'm sure Thomas is not going to have a care in the world about it once he can make this move on the Dutchman heading down the main straight. Avesta is now hounding Luke Davies. We've started the 10th lap of this Grand Prix and Vincendel is in. He cannot handle the soft tyre degradation anymore, and he's one of our first few pitters, first green flag running pitter here in this race. Thomas May and Sam Davis are battling here. Here comes Jonathan Jurgensmeyer as well. Jurgen bites himself to the turn 1 overtaking party, and he gets the job done. Davison now on the back of this DRS train, meaning the AlphaTauri will now be dragged along with this bunch and can make some proper progression in this race. If Albert could just find a couple of 10s here, he'd be included in this battle as well, and he would be up and potentially fighting for the points once again here in this one. Battle for second between Luke and Avesta. 5/10, as Sam Davis has actually lost that spot to the AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri versus Alfa Romeo, and Davis are just struggling on these hard tyres. But if he can survive the pain now on those hard tyres, things will be much nicer come the end of this Grand Prix, because they're the worst tyre by far. I'd rather be on a set of wet tyres compared to a set of hard tyres around this circuit. They're just awful. They don't heat up. They last a long time, but that's because they're slow. So Davis is getting this pain out of the way now. He can pull on a set of the mediums and just run steady to the end of this race. That's the goal. That's what Kyle Davis had told us, chief strategist for Saturn. That's what he told us earlier on in the Grand Prix. But lap 11 out of 29 we're going on to. Legend almost has that 5-second window. This is the real scrap for the non-legend runners race win. Avesta Gobadi versus Luke Davies. Avesta he's not actually using the slipstream. Seems like he wants to stay behind because he was lifting off in towards the first corner. I'm not really sure why, because I think Avesta's a little bit quicker than Luke at this stage in the race, but we'll wait and see. Here comes Jurgensmeyer and Davison battling. Davison currently third in the world driver standings, hasn't been third in the driver standings for an awful long time, but he's up past Jurgensmeyer and is looking to stay third in the world drivers standings. Legend would have either 44 or 45 points. No, sorry, he'll have either 45 or 46 points from the end of this evening as things stand, and Luke would be a comfortable second. As we see the two Aston Martins swapping round, it seems like Dulger has just let Main through there. Of course, contrary to the surname, Dulger is the main driver and Thomas is the reserve. That's Julius Gassner, who's gone round in the first sector. That is heading down towards the turn 5-6 chicane, the number 72 German. Just taking a spin round, unfortunately. The second German to take a spin round this evening. That is Julius Gassner and Morris Stumer, who both took a tip round in this Grand Prix. Germany, a country that only has two Formula Virtual Racing wins, only two Formula Virtual Racing winners. One with Schumacher in the surname, it's quite good, but the other was Lucas Faust, Felix Schumacher and Lucas Faust, of course. The two German winners. They haven't tasted German FVR success for a while. Can Ukraine taste more FVR success as Avesta Gobadi now takes second place over Luke Davies? He waited for one lap, wasn't bothered to wait anymore. Now the hunt down starts. Catch Legend Rosenberg, so you're within 5 seconds of the pit window, and then you can try and take the race lead. Avesta, I think he was playing DRS games into a non-DRS zone. He braked way too early and just let Luke go up the inside. Unless these two are trying to work together here to stay with Legend. It's not been successful, because Legend is still pulling. At a rate of knots as well, mind you. But at 12 to 29, this is an awful intriguing one. Wonky Anderson, under pressure from Thomas May, has made those soft tyres work well. Thomas then can go on to a set of mediums after this one, which will play very, very nicely into his hands. Let's have a look. On board Thomas May, hounding down the Swede of Wonky Anderson. caught a little bit in that middle sector, but not an awful lot, mind you, as we see Luke Davies, very, very early pit stop. He's in to the pit lane for presumably a set of hard tyres. Redmond comes in as well. Is this early pitting, or is this all that they can muster? As we see, Redmond goes for the hards, as does Luke Davies. We now have all three compounds well represented on the grid. We only had Stumer on the hards for a while, with Sam Davis, of course, but I wouldn't count out Thomas or Sam here for a good result, as he's like Hartle and Tishy fighting. It is Adrian versus Mills, heading up towards turn number 4, the Ferrari, and Mills Hartle looking to fight this one back, goes for the outside, Tishy on the inside, the Canadian got to defend here, in towards turn number 4, he's got the inside line for the next corner as well, he's also got the better traction. Great racing from Adrian Tishy to keep the spot here in 8th, that was classy, that was perfect from Adrian, didn't do anything silly by defending the outside because it's the inside for the next bit. Yada yada, he just decided, yeah, I'm just going to be quicker and get out of the corner quicker and slow in, fast out, as Nicky Lauda would used to say. And that's the case for Adrian Tishy. The number 98 is up into 8th position. Yellow flag sector 1, that's Morris Stumer. Oh, that's Morris Stumer, he's actually hit the wall, and that is Morris Stumer's race. Not necessarily physically over, but hypothetically, there's nothing gonna really come from this one. It's Jack Redmond overtakes Bob Bune for 12th, the undercut attempt, as Legend is in. Legend wants to cover off this one, but remember, there's a 5-second time penalty to be served here for Legend Rosenberg, and that could be key in this one. Not allowed to touch the car yet, gotta wait 5 seconds. Gunter Steiner on the stopwatch. Now you can go, change the tyres, set of hards for the Dutchman. White car, white tyre. Avesta Gobadi, is he in front? Oh, I think Legend's just about. Legend is just about in front. But here comes Luke Davies. Is he going to be in front on the racing circuit? There's Legend coming out of the pit lane. Legend and Avesta. There's Luke Davies. Luke Davies is in the provisional lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. The pit stops were not quick enough for Legend or Avesta. Legend, of course, had that penalty. He's now in a fight with Davies and with Gobadi. Look at these three, though. Free abreast in towards the corner. Vincendel gets the job done on Adrian Tishy and Nils Hartle. We saw Tishy and Hartle fighting here. Hartle now on the inside. Hartle backs out. Thought better than that one. Adrian has his teammate coming up swiftly behind him, though. This is going to be crucial for this race. How quick can Luke and Legend dispatch these three cars on the slower tyres? Or actually, Leroy's already made his pit stop here, hasn't he? So Leroy is in the provisional race lead. But can those tyres go to the end of the race? I'm not overly confident about it. But what a Grand Prix this has turned into. It was a bit of a snooze fest for a few moments. Let's look at this. Davies trying it on the inside of Nils Hartle. Really, really precise move from Luke Davies. Now Adrian. It's unfortunately here, Adrian, it's got to be a case of multi-21. Let your teammate through. This can be the best chance of a race win this season, potentially. We're only 2 races in, very early to call, but Luke's pace quite good here. Adrian has to try play this smart and let Luke Davies through and just back up Legend in the middle of the corner. Legend now diving down the inside. Adrian, oh, he's just let him through. There was not really the team game at play, and now Luke Davies is going to be the prey for the shark that is Legend Rosenberg. Heading down the main straight, Rosenberg opts for the outside. It's not even really going to matter here as Luke is burning all of his battery. He's actually keeping alongside for the time being. Luke Davies still on the inside. Rosenberg still on the outside. They make contact in towards 1. Rosenberg leads out of 2. The Haasman is up and packed. Steven Formula Virtual Racing defends in towards turn number 4. Davies still going to try for the outside endeavour here in towards the next corner. Rosenberg has to leave adequate space. Luke was long enough alongside. Luke slightly pushed off the circuit here. He's not going to be happy about that one. But Avesta Gobadi still threading the needle just behind the McLaren. Gobadi and Davies, the real battle here in this one potentially. But no, it's Rosenberg who leads from Davies, who leads from Avesta Gobadi. Luke has to stay within the DRS here in Legend. This is crucial. He's got to stay with it because Legend still has to get past Leroy in front. Luke could sort of take advantage of that one, possibly, but he's got to stay within the DRS. He's not stayed within the DRS. And is that chance gone? I think I know Luke is certainly not a bad person, and he's certainly never hated teammate for anything. But I think secretly inside he may be raging at Adrian a little bit. There was a real opportunity to let Luke through into turn 12 or something maybe, and just not necessarily break early or anything, but just maybe get on the power a little bit later. Just hold up Legend a little bit. I think there was a real opportunity for that, and it wasn't taken. And I think Adrian actually held up Luke even more of anything. That's Nils Hartl who spun, so that's Hartl who's gone. Here comes Legend for the inside of Leroy Van Schendel. It is Dutchman versus Dutchman. That one's going to be a lot more simple than the one on Luke Davies, because Leroy he's not quick enough really to keep up with Legend. He's simply not quick enough. And Legend has got he's a less than 10% battery regeneration, so if Leroy plays his cards right, a bit of DRS as these two are side by side here. Look at Avesta off the circuit. That's a move potentially taken off the circuit. That's a spot taken off the circuit. He's going to have to give that one back. He has. I don't necessarily think he gave it back. I think it was just taken back. It was snatched and grabbed by Luke Davies heading through turn number 4 as Kyle Albert. Oh, 3 wide here. Sam Davis almost came a cropper into turn number 10. Legend, he's not playing about. Legend maybe feels the pressure on this one. But now I certainly think there's nothing taken this race from Legend Rosenberg. As Avesta Gobadi in the background. Avesta goes for the ascend up the inside. What is going on? But Avesta has taken that one. I think Avesta felt that Luke is the problem here, and that's the one stopping him from a race win. I'm not looking forward to what he's going to do to these 3 cars in front, but a big send up the inside in towards turn number 11. That's allowed Avesta Gobadi to take provisional 3rd place for the time being. Yellow flag in the first sector. Morris Stumer once again, who's taking a tip round somewhere along the lap. Here comes Gobadi looking for this one on Sam Davis. Legend is 7/10 in front of Kyle Albert, still receiving a tow from Legend Rosenberg. Didn't think I'd say that today. Avesta, that's nice and handy for him. Gets the job done on Sam Davis, who I believe is going to go for a set of soft tires. That might be the strategy at play for the Alfa Romeo team. Now Vincenzo being held up behind Kyle Albert. It seems like our top 3 non-pitters are waiting for something that might not ever happen here. But I think they're waiting for a set of soft tires. They'll put about lap 19, about lap 20 potentially, and go for a set of soft tires. There's still plenty of laps for a bit of drama in Formula Virtual Racing as Kyle is doing the ultimate hold-up job. Gobadi dives Leroy Van Schendel side by side at the apex of turn 10. Adequate space left, a lot more than he left for Luke Davies, but he's got the job done. Now Vesta's going to go for this one on Kyle Albert. Kyle very much enjoying being a hindrance, I can tell you that for free. Sam Davis is grabbing with Luke Davies. Davies gets the job done on Sam Davis. Avesta's now cut through all the cars. He's a free shot at Legend Rosenberg, but that's like playing basketball against Michael Jordan. You're probably not going to win, regardless of the fact you're having a shot at it. But Avesta, he does still have a shot in him. He has a shot on Manuel Neuer in a World Cup final. He has a shot on him. Here comes Legend Rosenberg. Gets past Jonathan Jurgen's man. Heading in towards turn number 1. That's Legend almost back in the race lead. Cam Dulger's led a few laps here, so that's something for the CV even. As here comes Vincenzo. Up the inside of Kyle Albert. Leroy finally gets the job done. Luke now behind Kyle Albert. Can Luke get this one done into turn 4? Almost kind of needs to, burning the battery here, as I would believe Kyle Albert is as well. In towards turn number 4. Luke is the inside. Can break a lot later because he's much fresher tyres, but he's got to be careful not to hit the Red Bull or force the Williams off the track. He's not forced the Williams off the track. He's not hit the Red Bull. He's into 6th place. Now is to try and get past Leroy, and Leroy and Luke would not be very palsy-walsy with each other. They would not be best mates. This one could get personal, maybe. Of course, they were in a championship fight for a number of races last season. Again, you could use the Messi and Michael Jordan references last season in terms of Leroy fighting with Luke and Lewis for the championship, but that's a conversation for another day. Here comes Luke Davies up the inside. And that's totally simple, really, as Legend Rosenberg does take Cam Dulger in towards turn number 12. No messing about once again for Legend Rosenberg. He gets the job done. No messing about for Kyle Albert. He's also got the job done. Thomas Main looking up the inside here. Thomas, of course, on that medium tyre. He's going to be way better tyres than Leroy, than Luke, and potentially Avesta come the end of this race. He's on the inside now. Sam Davis heading in towards a very precarious corner for overtaking attempts, but Thomas Main has got the job done. What are the two Alfa Romeos got to do here? One's not pit, one has pit. and Sam Davison has the toe at Thomas Main. Both Alfa Romeo's got to go for a bit of a dual attack here on the Belgian in towards turn number 1. Jack Redmond just biding his time behind, but Sam Davis is still scrapping. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the two Alfa Romeo Saubers through here. Jack lifts off, sportsmanship-like, lets Sam through, just so he can take him in towards turn number 4, it seems. But Jack could have had a genuine shot on Thomas there. Leave the sportsmanship for after the race. Your teammates, you'll be fine. You'll sort it out. Go get the Aston Martin. Now Jack no longer has DRS, and this could be a bit of a hiatus in progress for the Alfa Romeo team. I severely hope not, because it's brilliant when you nudge someone to not, hit them even more or let them through. But yeah, that's maybe a bad call for Jack Redmond, but we'll wait and see. Gap at the front, 1.7. That's between Legend and Can Dulger. That's 1.9 in a lap. Legend has pulled over Can Dulger. The gap to Avesta Gobadi, his nearest challenger, is 3.2. And it's a very familiar sight for Legend Rosenberg. It is a very, very familiar sight. Legend controlling the front of this race, and it's outside factors like a safety car that would change the course of it. I thought it was almost going to have an unbelievable commentator's purpose when I saw the yellow flags, but it's unfortunately just for Morris Stumer. Got now 2.7 between Legend and Avesta. Avesta quite quick in this one. Avesta slams the car into turn number 1. He's not waiting and gets the job done on Cam Dulger. Tyler Davison, no, I thought he got the job done on Sam Davison, but Sam has finally come into the pit lane. We were going to hear from Kyle under all the safety cars. We've only had one, so fortunately we didn't get to hear on the progress of Sam's race through. Kyle Albert as well, really quick here in the soft tires. He's going to go for a lunge up the inside on Adrian Tishy. Last of the late breakers. The latest breaker is the Williams in that scenario. And Kyle Albert gets the job done for 11th position. Now has to try and hunt down Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, as well as clear off that 3-second time penalty. 2.5 now between Legend and Avesta. Maybe when we said Avesta was having a go at Michael Jordan, maybe in fact Avesta is secretly LeBron James or Cristiano Ronaldo for the football side of that reference. There's now 2.4 between the pairing, and Avesta is slowly but surely making inroads on Rosenberg. Avesta would love to take some of the Bahraini award, apologies if the language is wrong there. Stumer has come into the pit lane to retire, but the Wayoud is the special rose water that the podium placing drivers receive here in Bahrain. The sale of alcohol not banned, but they oppose not to give victory champagne. 2.2 the gap between the top two now. Battery, Legend is saving more, but it's Avesta's goal just to catch now, really, not to save battery. He's got to catch and try and make something of this Grand Prix for him. If he could win here in unlikely circumstances, it'd be one of Avesta's best performances. Qatar was really good last season. The United States was as well. Of course, it was Jackson Turner that brought me through that one, not myself, but it was still a great race from Avesta Gobadi. And so far, I think his best drive has to be Silverstone in Season 9, where he won by 30+ seconds in the wet. I wonder if I do check the statistics, is there something on that one? Our stats people, it's Luke, Brendan, and myself, and are very good. Not really me, I don't do much on it. But we do have all the records. Was Avesta's win the largest winning margin? It was, yes, there it is. 38.749 seconds was the largest winning margin ever in Formula Virtual Racing history. It was the Ukrainian of Avesta Gobadi that took it in Silverstone in Season 9. He actually took it over Morris Stumer. So Morris, unfortunately, falling by the wayside. In terms of all the virtual racing statistics, he is out of this one and was either retire or run the risk of going a lap down. So, very unfortunate for Morris Stumer. Well, I say very unfortunate. It was Morris that was making the mistakes. So, how unfortunate really is he? 2 seconds. The gap between Legend and Avesta. I hope I'm not hyping up nothing here, and Avesta can make something of this Grand Prix. But we'll wait and see. Plenty of battles throughout the field. Kyle says he still can't update on the race. Yeah, sure thing. Kyle, if you would, if you're interested in updating us, we'd love to hear from you. Kyle is still in the Discord. He's been here for the whole time. Kyle Davis, Chief Engineer of Sam. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can. I'm still here. Yeah,
Well,
a little update on the race with Sam's side, I guess.
It's just made a move on Adrian Tishy, actually.
Oh, you did. Nice one. That's at least one position up, but we were expecting to be a bit higher up the grid by now. We had some trouble with the pit stops. We were having to weigh in the factor of either stay out longer and hope for a safety car or pit now. And the moment when I started thinking about that, it was actually already too late because Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Khan Dozier actually undercutted us and are now quite far ahead, I'd say. We lost 6 seconds there, so this strategy was a bit tight on the base of that. Also notable things, I have noticed Sauber Drasche, 21 laps on the mediums. That is a stint and a half, I could say.
Whoa, he has done 21 laps in the mediums. I didn't even notice that, so thank you, Kyle, for that one. Kyle, in terms of points for Sam, are they still on the cards here, or is that a bit of a stretch at this point in the race?
It's not a stretch, but it is getting harder and harder to do so. I mean, we do have fresher tires, but in the end, these softs don't last that long, so they will build up anyway. Currently, we are trying to get past Kyle as soon as possible, and maybe hope for a penalty between Jordan and Jurgensmeyer, who's now been overtaken by Dozier as we speak. But yeah, it is highly possible, I should say. It's getting harder and harder to pull out though, so we need to get the move on and try to get in the top 10.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Appreciate the update once again. If anything notable happens this hour, we'll bring you back in and hear from you. But in terms of this race, battle for the win was just false hope, because Legend has got to hurry on, and he's now increased the gap by 7/10 of a second. Once again, the real battle here is for 4th place between Luke Davies and Leroy Vinchendel. It's 13 lap all mediums for Leroy, 10... it's not between Luke Davies, because it's between Leroy and Thomas, so it's 13 lap all mediums for Leroy, and 10 there for Thomas Main. Surely Thomas doesn't go for it here. He's going to wait for the slipstream, and Thomas, locks the brake, snatches the wheel, and almost slid round through the final corner. That would have been awful for him, but he's on the better side of things, and he's going to get the DRS and slipstream in towards turn number 1 now. Thomas Main up to 4th here in this Grand Prix. No real defence from Leroy. He's going to play his cars right in through 1 and 2 and get the slipstream through 3 and down towards turn 4. Here's 2, then 3, this little curve. Right-hander, flat out, has got the slipstream, not necessarily burning his battery. Maybe he's going to wait and just carry himself along here with Thomas Main. Luke Davies is not that far up the road for Thomas Main, so this could be a really intriguing podium battle here. Luke is in 3rd, Thomas in 4th. Thomas, of course, was 2nd last week, and Luke was 3rd. So Luke would hate to lose out to Thomas once again. Thomas will absolutely love every second of beating Luke twice in a row, because Luke, of course, beat him to the championship last season. The two former teammates are having a Rosberg-Hamilton moment where they were best friends for quite a while, and now they are not as much best friends, let's say. But we'll wait and see. We will wait and see here at the circuit that was designed by Herman Tilke in a space of 16 months. Legend, if he keeps putting in these laps, will win by a gap of about 16 months. But it was completed in 2003, of course, the $150 million facility. And we love coming here in Formula Virtual Racing, hosting a great season opener in Season 9. Maybe not as... Or sorry, maybe this one hasn't been as dramatic, but we've still seen some good side-by-side action. Again, Vinchendel versus Main. Vinchendel just going to soar past in this one, not really a competition necessarily. And Leroy is up to 4th now in this Grand Prix once again. This is going to be a battle to the end of this race. I can almost guarantee you on that one. But Legend 3.7, now the gap. He's gone with the wind. As Kyle just messaged me. Davidson, who you're here first, thinks I was going to have a puncture. Actually, he is. He's 23 laps on the mediums and is 14 seconds off the field. I don't know why he doesn't pit and go for a fastest lap. There's still a point for fastest lap. He has 100% battery. He could definitely pit and go for a fastest lap and take a point when he's not going to get one otherwise. I'm intrigued by that, I really am. About maybe the decision making of Zauber. But we will see. Here's a battle for 8th between Can Dulger and Wong Fei Anderson. That's Dulger up the inside of Anderson on the much better tyres. Sam Davis is 0.3 of a second off Kyle Albert. Might just be a best finish of 11th for Sam on the cards here, but if someone spun in front, he'd be in the points. So he is on the fringe. But needs to get past Albert first. Albert on similar tyres, hence why he's not caught him at a rapid rate. Main versus Van Schendel continues on. It's going to be Main who gets the job done now. At what point is Leroy going to just wait and maybe wait for the last lap? But behind, he's got to be careful because Davison is hungry for more points here in this one. Dulger up the inside of Anderson. Once again, Wong Fei trying to battle back on this one, but Can Dulger did get the job done, and Can Dulger is still ahead here in this Grand Prix. Luke 7 seconds off Avesta, so Avesta and Legend are sort of just bedding in for the evening, and they're very comfortable. But Leroy Van Schendel hunting down Main. Let's take a look on board. Of course, a reminder of our championship standings for the final time before this round. It was Rosenberg, of course, who had the most of it. Then Luke Davies, Tyler Davison, Dan Dulger, Jürgens. That's going to swap around, and it will continue to swap around apart from the top. That will remain in Legend Rosenberg's hands quite comfortably. Here, of course, as that's a yellow flag. That is puncture season, surely. Surely that's a puncture for the Ferrari. Or is it just a spin? I thought even a spin would puncture the tyre. No, he has all 4 tyres still running. Not too sure how he's achieved that, but he's all 4 tyres still going on that Scuderia Ferrari. As here we go, battle once again between Van Schendel and Main. They're both working together here. I've finally clocked it. They're both working together to catch this man, Luke Davis, who is under threat from the pair behind. Davison just not able to keep up with the slipstream shenanigans, as a younger me would have said, but not able to keep up with the slipstream swapping and changing. But if there's a battle that starts, he may well be able to capitalise on it. Remember, it is, of course, 14 points for 3rd, 12 for 4th, 10 for 5th, 8 for 6th. So there's a big difference between 14 and 8 points, which is what could happen to any of these people in this battle. Of course, Davison, Van Schendel, Main, and Davies. I've said them back to front, but that doesn't matter. It's still the same 4. Legend Rosenberg got to bring this one home at the front. He is starting the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, and Avesta Gobadi in second. It's then Davies, Van Schendel, Main, Davison, then Jack Redmond. Got to pick up a good 7th place here. Qualified 3rd, of course, but we had Main coming from the back of the field to put his hand in the fire. Sam Davis has got past Kyle Albert. Sam Davis 7.5 off Jürgens Mayer. Main, though, here we go. Up to 4th now. They are within DRS of Lightning Luke Davies. Luke is going to hope he's Lightning for these last 2 laps because he's got a lot of work to do here in this Grand Prix. Davison, 1.5 behind Leroy Van Schendel. Sam Davison comes into the pit lane. He's going to be the man going for the fastest lap and trying to take a point out of nothing here in this race. Julius Gassner did the same thing, so he's going to go for a point, and he's actually taking a cheeky slipstream. Vesta Gobadi. So we're going to have a fastest lap shootout. We're going to have a battle for 3rd as we see Vesta locking up the fronts in towards turn number 10. It's a battle for 3rd. It is Davies, of course, as I've said many a time, but no harm in a reminder. Davies third, Main fourth, then Schendel fifth, Davison in sixth, and Redmond is pushing the life out of his old hard tyres to try and get within this scrap, because he knows this could go very wrong and change a trajectory of a season for one of these. Rosenberg coming down towards turn 14 and 15 to get the hypothetical white flag. Of course, the white flag not a university recognised symbol for the last lap of the race in Formula 1 single-seater racing, but it is indeed. Oh, no! What are you doing? You cannot play DRS games like that when you have two cars behind you. That's reckless from this pair, but it's just in line of fire within Leroy Vinchendel. Heading down the main straight, he's going for third here. Leroy Vinchendel is on the podium. There's front wing damage for one of these, but that is silly from Luke Davies and Thomas Main. They've both been victims of DRS games of the past. They've both caused DRS games in the past, but they've never really done it in a reckless manner like that one. In towards turn number 4 then. There's no real scrapping because they're all sort of nursing their cars home for the time being. There could be big penalties for dangerous driving for Luke and Thomas, depending on what the steward's opinions of those shenanigans were. But Leroy had to pile on the brakes. Leroy's actually missing an end plate. The 3 wide on the apex of turn number 8. Davison's gone for a big move up the inside. He knows Thomas and Luke are going to be so hyper-focused on each other here that he can try take a spot. It's rubbing, is racing, as Dale Earnhardt would say. Davison taking that approach. A champion in various NASCAR leagues, of course. So he's going to use his experience from that here in the scrappy endeavour around the Sakir International Circuit. This is going to be all guns blazing through the final sector. We'll keep with it for as much as we can. Heading in towards turn number 13 now. There's 2 corners to go as Luke, big move up the inside. Legend Rosenberg takes the win here in Bahrain. Second win of the season for Rosenberg, but we've got to keep with this battle. The 3 abreast into the final corner in the Grand Prix. Davison goes for the outside. Davies now on the outside. Davison got to try sweep through. We'll get the slipstream to the line from the McLaren. There's still 3 abreast here. It's a drag race to the line. Slipstreaming. It's Davies, Davison, Vinchendel, Main that takes it. Redmond takes 7th. Great scrap. Controversial but good scrapping, I suppose we could say. Come the end of the race, Tugger takes 8th. Anderson will take 9th. Then it'll be Jonathan Jurgens who will come home to take the final points paying position in 10th. Then it is Kyle Albert in 11th. Adrian Tishy in 12th. Unfortunately, that qualifying crash sort of set the tone for Adrian here today. Sam Davis is pushing on a fastest lap attempt. He could take 13th as well in this one. He's going to get a tow from Neil Tartle to the line. Drag race to the line. Davis gets the fastest lap. Bob Yoon pushing as well. We have a fastest lap shootout come the end of the race. Redmond has left, unfortunately. Actually, no, that's not rage or anything. He actually has something to do, I believe. Bob Yoon rounding through the final corner, and he took the fastest lap off Sam Davison. No, I don't think so. No, he can't. So that'll be that. It is Legend Rosenberg who will stand tall and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Well, here is your full race results then. It is Legend Rosenberg who wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. It is 2 from 2 for the Dutchman. It is Avesta Gobadi who takes second. Solid result there for Avesta. Then it is Luke Davies, Tyler Davison, Leroy Vinchendel, Thomas Main, Jack Redmond, Con, Duggar, Wonkley, Anderson, Jonathan Jurgens, Then it was Kyle Albert, Adrian Tishy, Neil Tartle, Sam Davis did get the fastest lap point. Then it was Borbune, Julius Gastner. The non-finishers were Morris Studman, Enzo Kim, and Tim Den Hire. let's see, can we get some interviews? We didn't get them last week, of course, because we had a very long race last week. But let's see, can we get some interviews from our top three? We do have one. We're going to bring Avesta Gobadi in now. Hello, Avesta. Oh, no. Goodbye, Avesta. We'll bring him in again. Hello, Avesta. Can you... Okay, Avesta's not working, but let's bring in our race winner then, Legend Rosenberg. Hello, Legend. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Legend Rosenberg, congratulations. It's back-to-back on the return. 2 race wins, one in Brazil, one in Bahrain. This one looked like you were going to have to work for it for a time being, but it was fairly simple in the end. How did the race go from your eyes?
Yeah, the start was pretty tight with Luke on the inside. It pushed me a little bit wide, and then the safety car came out, which gave me a 5-second time penalty because we made slight contact under the safety car conditions. So after the safety car, really had to work for the 5 seconds, and then after the pit stop, again to just pull away. I really had some brake issues today with my new brake, but I have to really adapt to it and figure out what the problem is.
Well, I would go for my typical second race of the season question and ask, are you in a championship fight? But it's more, how can you not win this championship at this point? Because your pace is still just as good as it ever was, if not better.
Yeah, I think I am in the championship fight. I think that's quite obvious, but yeah, what could stop me? Equipment failure, people crashing me out. I don't know, just not attending races. But so far, everything is going all right. So I'm just hoping that this can continue and that I can win a championship. But if I just can keep my own pace and my own races, then I think it's definitely possible to win it.
Just in regards to equipment failure, you were saying you were having some pedal issues before the race. Did those iron out, or were you just managing them for the whole race?
I was managing them.
Is it a big issue, or is it something that you can fix?
It is something that I can fix, but it's a little bit equipment plus getting used to my new pedals. I just have them a week, and I only drove like one race in PSGL on it in Las Vegas, which was quite okay. But today I turned it on and it was a little bit of struggle on Bahrain. So I don't know if it's really a problem or me getting used to them, but I think it's more like a problem because it was locking up every single corner.
Well, hopefully all those issues can be fixed and we see you again winning a race. Legend, thank you very much for joining us, and yeah, go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you for coming.
Next person then we will hear from, let's bring in Avesta Gobadi, our second placed runner. Avesta, you are on mute, but can you hear us? No, suppose you can't because he's just left. But let's bring in Avesta once again. Hello, Avesta. Hello, Avesta.
Hello.
There we go, finally. Avesta, it was second place today, your return to the podium. Very good pace from you today, really excellent. It seemed like you were going to be able to challenge Legend, but just got caught up with Luke and with some traffic. How did the race go from your eyes?
Yeah, exactly. Well, first of all, GG to Legend and Luke, they did a very good job driving very fast. And yeah, the beginning quality didn't go as planned. I invalidated my last lap, which wasn't ideal, obviously. And in the race, yeah, I knew my setup was mostly made for the race. I had a lot of downforce, so I was catching in the corners mostly. But yeah, I don't know why Luke, I mean, he had the total right to defend his position, but I think we could have worked together to, have a DRS train together and catch Legend. But then Legend had a 5 second. I don't know why. Unlucky for him. Yeah. At the end, I was a bit struggling with the rear grip, and I think Legend was struggling with the brakes. So we were like quite matching each other's pace. And yeah, I mean, I'm very happy. Obviously, very happy because I didn't practice as much as I wanted to. But, you know, in some ways, I'm always disappointed because you always want to win the race. And knowing I had the chance today, but I fumbled, but at least I learned a bit and I know what to do for the next time.
Well, yeah, you were definitely the second quickest driver out there today. I know that's certainly not an insult because Legend is amazing. Is there some races where you think you can beat him if he was as good as he was today?
Well, yeah, well, I don't know. To be honest, I don't remember exactly the calendar, but I think if there's Belgium or some similar tracks to Bahrain, which has a lot of straight lines and fast corners, I think this is where I'm not losing as much time as Legend. You know, obviously Legend he's really really fast. He's rapid. He's really a goat. But I don't know. I think in some races there might be some lucky moments for me and unlucky moments for him that I could catch. But I don't know. I'm quite optimistic, and I might have at least one win this season. Hopefully, obviously.
Well, we do have Belgium on the calendar, round number 7. Next week, we don't have really a track like Belgium. We go to Canada. We go to Montreal. How's your pace around there? Are you looking forward to that one?
Actually, yeah, because I did a very good time trial lap. I think it was top 80 in the world in crossplay. So, and there was a league race some weeks ago. I had there and I won. So yeah, I'm very looking forward to Canada. Actually, yeah, I'll be practicing even more. I don't know, depending on Legend's pace, but Luke seemed pretty fast. Jack seemed also pretty fast. I didn't race with many others, so I don't know their paces, but I'll focus on Canada as much as possible.
Avesta, thank you very much. Congratulations on the podium and a pleasure hearing from you once again.
Thank you, likewise.
Third place man, let's bring him in then. It is, of course, Luke Davies who returns to the podium. It is 2 third places in a row for Luke. That one was controversial though. Luke, let's not talk about the end of the race just yet. Let's go from the start. Second place in qualifying, quite good. You had a bit of a run on Legend in towards turn number 1. Talk us through those the opening phase and the opening half of the race from your eyes. You are on mute, by the way, Luke.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really don't know where that lap came from. I was in like 7th, I think, and I thought I'll be lucky to squeeze 3-4 tenths out of this. And then I somehow found, I think, 7, just on the second lap. And yeah, obviously put me provisional pole there by a 10th. But yeah, obviously Legend's just too good. Obviously he got pole after that. But yeah, still really happy, and then really happy with the start as well. Got the jump on Legend there. Obviously, yeah, sent it down the inside. I'd have liked to have the run up to turn 4. Would have been good to see what happened, but yeah, obviously safety car came out, and yeah, Legend got 5 seconds, which is really unfair. I think the game gave it to him, and it could have happened to me either way. And obviously, it didn't affect anything. He's Legend, but yeah, that could have gone either way, and yeah, it's just unfortunate for that. And yeah, race unfolded. Just couldn't quite stick with Legend. I was like 2 tenths outside the DRS window, and I think that would have probably really changed my race if I stuck there. Then I made a small error, and then I got kind of sucked back into the pack behind with the Vesta. So yeah, I apologise a bit to Vesta because I broke a bit late into a few corners, and yeah, I just kind of messed both of our races up a little bit. But it didn't affect him. But yeah, it sucked me backwards a little bit, and I got held up in traffic after that. But yeah. So yeah, Thomas and Leroy, well, obviously after I picked Thomas and Leroy were gradually gaining on me with DRS, which was, it was a good race from them and smart, just to leapfrog each other, just gain about 3 tenths a lap on me for the last few laps. And last lap, just a bit chaotic. I pulled out to the right, braked, made sure no one was behind me. Thomas braked at the same time, and Leroy got damaged, I think, and then then there was like 4 cars all in one battle. So yeah, it was unfortunate, but it was definitely hard racing. But yeah, I mean, Thomas was like moving across me a little bit. He was like barging me on purpose on the run to turn 10, and then hit me in the rear. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but yeah, it's always hard racing with Thomas. Always elbows out, and yeah, today was no different, I guess.
Now, there's hard racing, but there is also dangerous racing. In your opinion, is what you and Thomas did in that last lap not extremely dangerous for not only your race?
Sorry, with Leroy as well. Oh yeah. Yeah. For me, on with the whole DRS games, I made sure that I braked with no one behind me, and I think that was the crucial thing because when Thomas broke to make sure I didn't get it, which I didn't get the DRS, but he made sure I didn't get it, and he didn't account for Leroy behind him, which I think started the whole thing. So like I did, in my opinion, what I did then was in a safe manner, whereas Thomas obviously reactions does wants the DRS and just breaks. So yeah, and then after that, turn one was okay. I think there was a tiny bit of contact on the actual exit of the corner, but there's nothing I could do about that. It was like I was still alongside someone. I think at a moment of my own, so I did slightly tag Thomas, but that was nothing. That was just the pure chaos. I think it wasn't me being lazy or anything. And then yeah, obviously Tyler and Leroy, they found their way there. And yeah, I was alongside with Thomas into turn 10, and he was like bumping me on purpose, like repeatedly, just hitting my side pod a little bit. He did back out, but then rear-ended me. So yeah, and then obviously I got Leroy because he had damage from Thomas braking. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I was trying to race fair, and I did everything I could to not put anyone in danger, like of damage or otherwise. And yeah, I was aggressive, I won't deny that, but I did everything in my power to not cause any damage. I didn't cause any damage. I got rear-ended, I got barged. I didn't do any of that myself, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's how it was for me. And
well,
I came
thank you very much, Luke. We very much respect your opinion, so thank you very much for that. We do appreciate that. Next week, Canada, what's on the cards for you there?
Obviously, want to keep up this podium streak. We'll see what happens with the stewards, but yeah, I'll give it my view, obviously. So yeah, obviously another podium. I think Legend's just going to be too quick unless something really happens to him in the next few, which we all know it can. It's FVR, but he's on a different level this season. So yeah, probably just looking to bring him another third or second place.
Luke, thank you very much. Congratulations on the podium. Next week, of course, as we spoke about in the interview, folks, Formula Virtual Racing heads to Montreal. We return to the home of our little bit of a hero, Adrian Tishy. So make sure you do join us for that one. 8 p.m. Saturdays, you know where to find us. We're going to leave you with a word from our title sponsors, Simulus Clothing. Stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time. Bye-bye. This program is brought to you by Simulus Clothing, official title sponsors of Formula Virtual Racing. But wait, there's more. Check out the official Formula Virtual Racing merchandise line out now exclusively to Simulus Clothing. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the program.